Hey, your boy Jay here with part 3 of our list of the top 50 greatest WWE tag teams of all time. Just a little side note I'd like to make. Keep in mind, guys, I'm doing all this off the top of my head, so I'm probably going to be off on some things, and made 2 glaring mistakes on my first list, 50 through 41. One of those will be addressed later, but the one I would like to address right now, the Quebecers. I confused them with the Fabulous Rougeaus. And as you know, one of the members of the Fabulous Rougeaus ended up becoming the Mountie, which was the anchor member of the Quebecers. The other member is PCO, who was Ring of Honor champion, about 2 years ago, so he's still in the business. But they were a pretty good team, but all their heat was mainly just because of the Mountie. They did win Tag Gold. They lost Tag Gold, not even on TV, because they weren't even that important. They rivaled a little bit with the Legion of Doom. I believe the Big Boss Man got somebody to tag with them to fight them, but I really can't even remember who. But they weren't even really a big deal. That's why I was thinking more of the Fabulous Rougeaus, because I would have definitely put them on ahead of the Quebecers. And I was even watching the product then when the Quebecers were on and completely forgot about them until I was listening to myself back and had to think about it a little bit more, and I realized my mistake. So I do apologize for that. But yeah, here we go. Number 30 through 21. And this is where it gets to the point of the list where I'm not going to be saying on almost every single one, yeah, they're not going to be on our list. They're not going to be on our Belief Suspended Wrestling list of 50 greatest tag teams of all time. A lot of these teams, they are deserving to be on here, and you'll see why. Because we're going to start off right now with number 30, Owen Hart and the British Bulldog. So yeah. Individually, both these guys probably, if not top 50, top 100 greatest wrestlers of all time. Almost for sure. If not, they would both just barely miss the cut. Tag Team Gold had 2 different runs. One was either 95, 96. Jim Cornette managed them at the time. They were part of Camp Cornette with Yokozuna. Owen Hart had just got done tagging with Yoko. And I believe they won Tag Gold together. And then Davey Boy was challenging for the world title. Then Yokozuna jumped into that spot or left the company, one of the two. So Owen and Davey got together and won Tag Gold. And then the Clarence Mason thing happened. I believe the Nation of Domination? No. That didn't happen. Nation of Domination thing did not happen yet. It's just... the Hart Foundation thing happened, and they got back together. I know Owen tagged with Neidhart a little bit because Davey was chasing the European Championship, but I believe when the Hart Foundation did win the tag titles, it was those two again. It was Owen Hart and Davey. I'm like 90% sure. But yeah, pretty good tag team. British Bulldog was a great WWE in-ring worker. He did what was asked for him to do in that company. Now, in other companies, we wouldn't call him an ace or anything like that, but he's a guy you could build a company around. This was a tag team that was a legit tag team. They weren't put together because of a storyline. A lot of these tag teams that we mentioned earlier on the list were put together just for the storyline of getting them together and seeing how will they coexist, or putting them together just to see how the explosion would happen or implosion of the tag team would happen. This was a legit tag team, in my opinion at least, and they won gold. So yeah, number 30, that's about right. Maybe a little higher, maybe a little bit lower in our list, but definitely should be there, I believe. If they don't make the cut, they're just barely going to miss the cut on our list. But yeah, number 30, the British Bulldog and Owen Hart. And at number 29, we have The Miz and Morrison. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Miz Morrison. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Miz Morrison. So, I'm pretty sure this run, probably not included, Their ECW run is probably what we're thinking of. I'm hoping the little bit, tiny, tad bit more in a year that they've been together now does not make them 29 on the 50 greatest WWE tag teams of all time. I mean, I guess if it does, but I hope not. But yeah, they were one of those teams with just the obnoxiousness, and then just with the way the Miz heals it up with the promos, and then with the way that John Morrison could go out there and perform, just makes people even madder, which makes the team even better, in my opinion. So, yeah, they, early 2010s. 2007, I believe, is when they were together. I'm afraid to give exact dates, because I could just kind of got it all glommed together here. But yeah, the ECW days, they did a little bit on SmackDown. John Morrison, I believe, is the first one that we've brought up twice on the list. He was already on this list with his team M&M. So yeah, obviously a good tag team wrestler. They had a tiny story going in which brought them together as Miz and Morrison, but it wasn't like a story that was, oh my god, how are they going to act together? What's going to happen if they break up? There was never any big breakup. I think the breakup angle lasted like 3 weeks after it was over. It was just when it was over, it was over. And they both went off and did their own thing, and both did amazing. And here we are, 10, 15 years later, and they are back together. The Miz is hurt right now, but as soon as the Miz is healed back up, I can totally see them fighting every week for the tag titles. Oh god, I said that out loud. I am sorry. I hope Raw still isn't that way by the time Miz gets better, but you know how it is. If they get in that tag team title upper echelon there, they will be fighting for the tag titles every single week, won't they? Oh, but yeah, number 29, Miz and Morrison. And at number 28, I believe we have The Bar. Cesaro and Sheamus. The Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus. And, now, so they are a tag team that I liked, and I know I've been complaining this whole list already of, well, they were brought together on an angle to see how they would coexist and yada yada yada, and yeah, they were. They had a best of 7 series. They ended up tying on the 7th match, and they were told whoever won would get a championship opportunity. Well, since they tied, Kurt Angle goes, well, you'll still have your championship opportunity. And they were like, oh, so we'll have a triple threat match. It's like, no, you guys are a tag team and you'll fight for the tag team titles. I believe they lost the first time, but it was like not a very good loss. Not a convincing loss, wasn't a big deal. They went to the pay-per-view, won the titles, and they dominated as a tag team. And as time wore on, as their entrances blended together, their styles already meshed very, very well. Cesaro and Sheamus, I mean, I guess that's part of growing up in that European independent scene. I know Sheamus really didn't go through developmental. He kind of went straight to WWE developmental. Cesaro worked his way through the indies up. But I feel like their styles meshed perfectly. It was great. It was a good hit 'em and stick 'em. Sheamus and Cesaro selling his ass off every now and again, hitting technical moves. Great tag team together. Really didn't even have a big breakup angle. I believe they were just drafted to separate brands is all it was, or just 1 week one of them was fighting for a title. It wasn't a big breakup. I could totally see them getting back together, picking up right where they left off. We can forget the League of Nations part of their run, because the less said about that, the better. But yeah, number 28, The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. And you know what? They may make our list too, because especially if we're going to go recent tag teams, like last 10, 15, 20 years, they definitely deserve to be on that. They should be way higher if we're going that recent, because by most of this list, that is a lot of what we've been talking about anyway. So, Yeah. The Bar. And at number 27, Team Hell No. And talk about a team that I've been complaining about this entire list. Literally put together. Now had some of the best skits that have been on WWE TV in a long time. But, yeah, other than that, talk about the tag teams that I've been complaining about that are literally put together just for storylines to see how are they going to coexist. And turns out pretty well. Turns out pretty damn well. Daniel Bryan was on his way of getting hot with the crowd anyways. Kane, all he has to do is tell the crowd to either like him or hate him, and the crowd will respond in kind. At that point, he told the crowd to like him. So as he was courting Daniel Bryan still with the no dilly-dally. He was slowly, Kane was slowly getting the crowd on his side. We had those psychiatry skits, which were amazing. They won tag gold together. It's sad to see a team break up. It's sad to see Kane have to help torture Daniel Bryan as part of the, not corporation storyline, what was it? Authority storyline against Daniel Bryan. But, it was good to see them come together. I think they had one match, maybe two matches together when Daniel Bryan's made his comeback. Obviously, that isn't what made him on the list. I think part of the reason why they're so high on the list is just because of how over they were at the time. Nobody was over on that roster at the time. Nobody. So, with them being able to get that type of reaction from the crowd at the time they were, I think they're more lucky in that stance. I think they won the titles twice. Could be wrong. I believe they won the titles 2 different times. The Raw title, and then it was just the regular tag team titles. But, or no, it wasn't called the Raw tag titles then back then. I think it was just the regular World Tag Team titles is what it was. Like heavyweight tag titles and World Tag titles is what it was, possibly. But, yeah, I could see them definitely on a WWE list. Team Hell No on it. Not on ours. Like I said, probably not going to see them on ours because I don't consider them an actual tag team. Even though they had a run longer than some of the other teams that I consider established tag teams. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, number 27 Team Hell No. Number 26, Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik. And here we go. One of those teams I did not see a lot of, but I wasn't even born for part of their run. Then I was very young for the other part of their run, but yeah, team that got a lot of heat, especially during the Cold War. The Iranian with the Russian, Nikolai ended up becoming an American a Russian that sympathized with America, but at that time he was not. That's who brought Hacksaw Jim Duggan into the company. That's what got Hacksaw Jim Duggan over to the point that he was because, was it WrestleMania 3? He got the Killer Bees disqualified because I believe the Iron Sheik had the camel clutch on one of the members of the Killer Bees, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan came in and interfered because America was not going down that night. But yeah, the Americans lost and didn't win the titles, but Duggan made sure nobody got beat up anymore, and that's the important thing. But yeah, they were they would do the Russian national anthem. Sheik was always good, even though you barely ever, even in his best days ever, prime Iron Sheik, couldn't understand him barely. Good at generating heat. They were a legit, audience members wanting to climb the barricades to stab these dudes and attack these dudes. Even in the WWF and WWF days when they trained their crowds not to act like Southern wrestling crowds where you wanted to attack the heels like that, they were able to garner that. Tag team champions, check that box. Another team not put together for a storyline. It was an organic teaming. There was no big breakup angle. I think just Iron Sheik just left the company. Left Nikolai Volkov kind of hanging there a little bit, and he turned American sympathizer. So yeah, it turned out his Iranian buddy turned his back on him, and he felt alone. So he joined us in the good old USFA. USFA. Haha, yes. The United States fucking America. The USA, United States of America. Good God, I'm crazy. So yeah, there we go. Number 26. I had to look because I already forgot. Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik. And at number 25, we have Los Guerreros. And yes, should I say? It's Eddie Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero. Chavo Guerrero Jr. I would hope if there were wrestling fans watching, I wouldn't have to say that, but I guess, younger people really wouldn't know. Yes, we lie, we cheat, we steal. We lean into a lot of Mexican stereotypes. It wasn't as bad as, I forget the other Mexican tag team. La Mexicool or La Mexicans or whatever, where they're riding lawnmowers and doing that. Just ridiculous stuff. But yeah, Chavo Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero's at top of his game at this point in time when this team was together. Chavo, probably his best in-ring work in his career was going on at this time as well. Like, it was perfect. It wasn't even storyline. It was nephew, uncle and nephew, or cousins. I think it was uncle and nephew, but I may be wrong. They may have been cousins. But so totally made sense for them to tag team together. Right in the heart of when SmackDown was becoming the main brand SmackDown, and just great in-ring work. The tag division was on fire at the time, and these were the guys on top of the tag division at the time. No big breakup angle. I think Chavo just got a little bit jealous and they fought. Infighting happens all the time, and then bam, Eddie goes and gets world title. What else could you ask for? Now, as far as top 50 greatest tag teams ever, probably not in my list, but in WWE history, they would make my list. Probably not so high, but, the Eddie Guerrero factor, I'm sure, is what bumps them up so high in the WWE's list. But yeah, number 25, Los Guerreros. And at number 24, we have the APA, the Acolyte Protection Agency. And damn. And if you don't know, you don't know. I have no idea how to explain these guys. Bradshaw was not doing nothing at the time. He had just gotten out of a tag team, the new Blackjacks, so he was just kind of floundering. And then Ron Simmons just got done with the whole Nation of Domination thing where he was the leader, and The Rock just, out of pure charisma, took that thing over on his own, because it's The Rock. It's The Rock. So yeah, Ron Simmons of all people, floundering, having nothing to do, which was crazy. It's Ron frickin' Simmons, but when you debut him in a Mega Man outfit for your company, yeah, he's probably not destined to do great things. And The Undertaker starts the Ministry of Darkness. Bam, Ron Simmons and Bradshaw put together as the Acolytes. That it was the birth of them. And they kind of, as the corporate ministry happened, they decided just to fight for whoever's going to pay them the most amount of money. And bam, the Acolyte Protection Agency is born. And they're all about smoking, gambling, drinking, and kicking ass. And that is all they did. They had the vignettes where they just went to bars and tore the things up. Thing was, in the 70s and 80s, that's what wrestlers did. They went to bars, and once somebody said something, two of them would take out 20 guys in the bar like it was nothing. So it was kind of a good throwback to the old days of wrestling, which the business will never go there again. Not only because of society, but also because of the type of people that are in the business now. So it is what it is. But yeah, Bradshaw and Ron Simmons, I don't even know if they've ever won the tag titles, to be honest. I feel like I remember seeing them with tag titles, but I don't think they've ever won it. But they were one of those teams that really didn't have to win the gold to be the best tag team, because their whole thing was getting paid to go out there and beat the crap out of somebody. And then if somebody in the locker room messed up, they also beat the crap out of those people too. Public Enemy come in saying that they were way better than everybody else in the WWF. And if you watch that episode of Sunday Night Heat, you will see that the Public Enemy learned real quick that they were not the baddest dudes in the WWF. But yeah, number 24, the Acolyte Protection Agency. And at number 23, we have the Blackjacks. And yeah, I just talked about the new Blackjacks, which was Barry Windham and I was about to say Terry Bradshaw. I have no idea why. But John Bradshaw, Latham, whatever. We are not talking about them because they did nothing. I think it was Barry Windham. But anyways, the Blackjacks was Blackjack Mulligan and what the hell, Blackjack Lanza? I believe so. I hope so. I hope I'm not wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm right. But they were big. I don't even know if they wrestled in the late 70s. I know for sure in the 80s. I feel like they were in the late 70s too, early 80s. And they were just known as the old cowboy team that just came out and kicked ass. They were more in the WWF, not really WWF, but they were still around in early WWF days. I think they wrestled at either WrestleMania 1 or WrestleMania 2. They were still together. A team, obviously, that had traveled the territories for sure in the 70s, but I don't know if they went by the Blackjacks when they were outside of the WWF or not. But I really can't tell you too much about them. I just know they're one of those teams that if you go look up a match of them and you think the Blackjacks, that what you see the guys coming out as is exactly what you think of as the Blackjacks. And then when you keep in mind that Bradshaw was in the new Blackjacks and the stuff he did as an acolyte in the APA, it totally makes sense when you watch an old Blackjacks match why he was put in the new Blackjacks. So yeah, also, fun fact, which I'm sure most wrestling fans know, is Blackjack Mulligan, grandfather of Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas. I believe he is the father or father-in-law to IRS, Erwin R. Shyster. I doubt no one cares about that fact, but I figured I'd throw it in there because I know something, but I know that really isn't anything. So yeah, number 20, I've already forgotten the numbers. Number 23, the Blackjacks. And at number 22, we have the Shield. Not sure if we're counting all three of them. If we are, definitely could see them being up that high. And then if we're not going to count all three, are we going to count, which I believe was the superior tag team, Rollins and Reigns? I feel like they held the tag titles for almost a year when they were together. When Dean Ambrose was U.S. champion and they were tag champions and they were all about the authority. But yeah, they were dominant. Even if we just count them as like a group, a three-man group, kind of like we did Evolution, they were dominant. They just came, kicked ass, won titles, almost like an APA, like we mentioned earlier, doing their stuff for the highest bidder. And the Shield was all about theirs. Now, they did make a return run when they got back together and everybody got healthy again. And Reigns was the single, and it was Ambrose and Rollins. Don't get me wrong, they're a good tag team. They all had chemistry together, but it was not the Rollins-Reigns run, which was an even better tag team run. But all-time tag teams, I don't know. There's just not the hindsight there. They more than have the body of work. There was great breakups, and I know I've complained about the storylines, but they came in as a team, and there was a great breakup. Then we had a great story of them coming together again, and then a great breakup. And I dare one of you guys out there to tell me that you would be upset if somehow another story was written, it may not happen in WWE, of all three of them coming together again and dominating the tag division again. Because you'd be a damn liar if you told me that you do not want to see that. Everybody still cheers whenever Seth and Roman get in the same room. Imagine if Dean just popped up. Or just imagine if Seth and Roman popped up over on AEW during Moxley's segment. And you're saying you wouldn't shit your pants going crazy. You're a damn liar. So yeah, I could see the Shield being where they're at. It may be harder for some of the hardcore fans just because the nostalgia isn't there. The long-term effects of what they did isn't there. So I understand why it's hard, but I could personally see it, especially, I feel like that title run was damn near a year that they had together. And I think they won it, I think Rollins and Ambrose won it too, so they run it as different different combinations, and they never used the Freebird rule either, so that's why I'm not sure which two we're picking here, or if we're just picking them as group dominance, which maybe that's what we're doing, I don't know. So yeah, number 22, The Shield. And at number 21, we have DX. So this is super confusing. Are we talking X-Pac and Kane? Because X-Pac and Kane was already on the list. Are we talking the New Age Outlaws? Hope not, because that would be bullshit if they are this low on a WWE all-time tag team list. Are we talking X-Pac and K-Quick? Because they won tag teams together. Are we talking Road Dogg and K-Quick? Are we talking Shawn Michaels and Triple H? I bet you we are. But why wouldn't we just specify that and put DX in brackets? But anyways, yeah, number 21, DX. And I'm just going to assume, so my brain doesn't blow up and I go off, that it is Shawn Michaels and Triple H. And yeah, I know why they're on there. You all know why they're on there. Shawn Michaels, my favorite wrestler ever of all time. You'll never change my mind. I know he's a piece of shit. I know he was a dick. But guess what? You can't beat what he did in the ring. And as a kid, that is literally all I saw. That's why I liked Bret Hart for as long as I did until he went to WCW. Because for some reason he quit wrestling when he got there. And I'm not talking about after he got kicked. He literally quit wrestling once he got there. But they did win Tag Gold, I believe, 2 or 3 times. They, the Hunter Shawn Michaels story goes on, and I know I complained about that with other guys, but they started together, broke up, got together, broke up. But when DX gets together, DX gets together. It's D freaking X, D Generation X. But number 21 of the 50 all-time greatest tag team list. I thought all the padding was done between 40 and 50. Apparently we're still padding it out in the damn 20s. Because I don't know what they really did to enhance the tag division except for bury it. They fought 5 guys constantly. Technically 7 because the McMahons were with the Cheer Squad or whatever their name was. And they beat them routinely. And they beat almost everybody else who went up against them routinely. And I understand, Shawn Michaels, great wrestler on his own. Triple H, great wrestler on his own. Great singles, but that doesn't mean just because they were a tag team for a little bit that we're going to make them one of the greatest tag teams ever. But it is what it is. That's how it is. But at number 21, DX, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H. And yeah, so there it was, guys. Number 30 through 21. Let me know what you think so far. Don't forget to comment, because we will be putting together our own list of the top 50 tag teams of all time, and I think that we can do better. So don't forget, like, subscribe, and I will see you next time.